I know it's late for you. One second while we wait for YouTube to load. There we go. All right. I was trying to make sure we look as pretty as possible when we go on. Yeah, exactly. Hey, everybody. You're listening to MLVC, the Madonna podcast, your place for all things Madonna Louise Veronica Ciccone. I am your celebration tour correspondent, Stefan. And today on the show, we've got Damien Jones, who attended the first night in Lisbon, Portugal for the celebration tour. Welcome to the show, Damien.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you at nearly 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, and I'm letting everyone know who's listening or watching right now. There is a bit of a delay from my speaking to Damien hearing. So if there's a little bit of a pause between when I finish saying something and Damien answering, that's why. I guess the Portugal Wi-Fi is not what it's all cracked up to be, but we're gonna do our damnedest to have an entertaining interview anyway. So, Damien, tell me all about your experience. You've seen the show already, correct? So this is not your first time seeing Celebration.
Correct. So I've seen it twice in London. So opening night, and then I saw it on the Wednesday in the same week. And then tonight was my third night, which was interesting. It was an amazing show. Like, I think everyone has already concluded that it's a phenomenal show. So I probably don't need to tell you how good it is because we already know how good it is. But I'm sure you would agree when you see it more than once, twice, three times, you're able to focus on sections that you missed the first or second and third time. And also, depending on where you're sitting in the arena, you get a very different experience. The crowd tonight was really, really into it. And of course, there's that link with Lisbon. She lived here. So there was, I guess, an additional layer of, yeah, exactly. Thankfully, there weren't any songs from Madame X, but she did perform Saudade, Saudade with David just before I Will Survive. So that was something new. And of course, the crowd soaked that up and they loved it. And everybody in the arena was singing them apart from me because I didn't know the words.
That's all right. You were not the biggest. You were not the biggest fan of Madame X, correct?
Let's just say it's not on high rotation in my household.
It's okay. That's understandable. But yeah, being as she is back in the city where she conceived the album, I assume everyone who's a Portuguese, local was probably so excited to have her there and to have her sing a Fado song.
No, exactly. And there's definitely that element of, you could tell that it was heartfelt and sincere when she did those sort of dialogues at the beginning and sort of halfway through. So she touched on how much the city had meant to her in her journey, and she thanked Portugal and all the artists, and I think probably one of the reasons she came on late is because she was probably having a bit of a meet and greet party before the show, because she did actually mention something about having a catch up with all these different people before the show, because she started at 10 p.m., which is obviously pretty late. But bang on 9:59, she came on, or Bob came on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So yeah, I saw that she had come on at around 10, and I thought, oh, see, I'm like, but it's only been a couple of weeks that she's been doing the show, and I thought, well, she started at 8:30 in London, and I was like, and she's now starting at 10 o'clock, about like 3.5, 4 weeks into the show. I'm like, what does that bode? That doesn't bode well for the United States.
No, good luck. Good luck. When we heard that remix of Deeper and Deeper, we were like, okay, right, it's it. This is it. When you hear Deeper and Deeper, the show's about to begin. And then we said to the people around us, don't go anywhere, the show's about to start. And then half an hour later, the show hadn't started.
Oh,
And
wow.
we were still waiting for it to start.
Who was
But, you know,
who was the DJ for the opener?
you know what? I don't even know. Like, we arrived after the DJ had finished.
Oh, wow.
So I did not even see or hear who it was. Yeah. So the arena is actually quite far outside of Lisbon. It's not in the center, which is why it took me so long to get back to where I'm staying. But yeah, phenomenal show. I mean, I was looking at it just thinking, God, like there's so many, again, you miss it the first and second time, but there's so many references to so many things throughout those 40 years. And it might just be like in Into the Groove, there's like a really subtle dance move that like is pulled from the Virgin Tour, and there's all the projections are of record vinyl covers that you just didn't see the first time, and there's just so much that you just didn't pick up on the first or second time. So yeah.
Are you seeing the show again tomorrow?
Nope. No, I had to draw a line at 3 shows on my credit card.
This was your finale, your celebration tour, last hurrah.
Yeah, yeah,
And did you
yeah. So
did you do
originally,
anything? Did you do anything special for tonight?
No, not really. I mean, opening night for me was the big one in London, and I've had a friend come over and stay with me from Australia, and he's seen the show 6 times. So opening night for us was great. We were in Madonna costumes, and we made a big night of it. And then I'm traveling quite light during this. It's like a weekend trip, so I've got one little backpack and carry-on luggage, and didn't go all out this time around. But originally I wasn't going to see the show twice in London. I have a tradition with a friend. We've seen Sticky and Sweet and Madame X in Lisbon together. So it made sense to come back and see the celebration tour in Lisbon as well. And then the second London show was basically somebody trying to get rid of some tickets. So we snapped up on the opportunity. But yeah, I'm glad I've seen it 3 times. I mean, and it also kind of made me realize the bits that stay. There were some parts of tonight where I felt a little bit bored, and there were other parts where my interest was held just as much as it was on the first night. Examples being like Live to Tell is just phenomenal, and I guess strikes a bit of a personal nerve with me with the whole HIV/AIDS subject. And the opening tracks, I mean, it's just pure pop fan satisfaction, everybody into the groove, Holiday. I mean, you can't open your heart. And within that first section, it's just so many. I had this obsession with Madonna using chairs as stage props. And Open Your Heart has, I mean, so many kind of nods to like Keep It Together and Open Your Heart and Bye Bye Baby and what else? Even Like It or Not, maybe potentially, but So it's I get off on the chair factor.
So wait, I'm curious. I want to go into the parts where you mentioned you were slightly bored. So what kind of moments are you being bored at a Madonna show?
I know, controversial. So I said if I had to get rid of one song, I would actually get rid of Hung Up. And I just don't, that the whole Takesha thing, it just doesn't do it for me, I don't think. And I think I've got the Confessions Hung Up version so cemented in my head as that amazing finale. I just don't think if I ever hear it, that can never be topped.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously she raised the bar so high with that song and that performance. Like, how could you top that? but I wouldn't say bored, but maybe the right word is other songs or performances held my interest more than others. Yeah, I thought the set list makes sense, but there are certain times where you're like, oh, okay, I wonder why she made that choice. Like Rain, for example, is at the very, very end of the show, and I thought, okay, that must mean something that I may be missing. Um, so yeah, but I love Rain. So
what moments do you think were the like highlights of the show other than those? Like, I'm just curious as to like, because we've had a couple people on the show who have said they felt the show as a little stop start, and it sort of loses a little bit of momentum. And I'm wondering if that's maybe what you're sort of experiencing. Again, I've not seen the show yet. It's coming up, but I haven't seen it yet. So I'm curious as to why you feel there are moments, you know.
I think some of the interludes, when you with the flames and the sort of the living for love, and I've never really been an interlude lover, and a lot of effort gets put into her interludes, and they're really super theatrical and artistic, and I admire them for their creative angle. But those are the moments where you're like, oh, okay, well, okay, just maybe sit down now. Well, the other thing that doesn't work for me, seeing it a third time, is the Michael Jackson and Madonna section at the end. And I get the point, is she's sort of positioning herself in that era of the icon, but it feels almost the most disingenuous part of the show, I think, and a bit too jarring. So that
Mm-hmm.
by that point, I was like, no, 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 let's just skip to the finale here. I've seen this once, and that was enough.
Yeah.
But
What were some of your
mm.
favorite looks from the show? So you've seen it 3 times now. You're very familiar with the costumes. What were some of your standouts?
Well, I have always loved from the first show, the opening, Nothing Really Matters look, amazing. And then straight into that, which is the throwback to like the Virgin tour, that sort of, I don't know how to describe the look, but you know the one I mean, the hair's down, it's sort of like a green turquoise. She's singing, Open Your Heart Into the Groove. I love that's my favorite costume from the show. I'm not a fan of the wig, like the erotica kind of Vogue wig, I have to say, but I think that the opening is the best for me. I love it.
Yeah, I've got
And
to say,
there's something about the last costume is just quite bonkers, but it's I just also love for how out there it is. It's like, what's going on here? But okay, I'm here for it.
yeah, I love that pick that outfit that she's wearing with the veil and the bodice, the sort of the weird. I mean, I call it the nun outfit. I know it's not a nun outfit, but like it's just such crazy. When she did that look months ago last year, I was like, that is so
Yeah,
bananas of her to do, but she looked like she was having
yeah,
fun with it. And I thought it's so quintessential Madonna to do something that bizarre. Like it was almost very reminiscent of that time when I call it when she was Heidi on acid, at that fashion show, or no, at the sex book premiere when she like it was like cracked out Bo Peep, like she was crazy looking, and I'm like,
yeah, yeah,
that's the same type of look. It's that type of like she takes almost like a fairy tale, where she's like little Bo Peep, but she like amps it
yeah.
up in this weird Madonna way, and it becomes this like alternate reality version of the look, and that's exactly what it reminds me of in that like that nun look. I just call it the cracked out nun look, but which is probably a terrible thing to say because I'm sure there's probably no nuns that should be cracked out. So sorry, bless me for I have sinned. But I love
She
that
did
she has.
make
Oh,
a
sorry.
few
Go ahead. Go
jokes
ahead. Go ahead.
about none. No, I was just saying because of the delay. She did actually make a couple of jokes tonight about being a nun because she's let's say she's quite dry at the moment. She said to the audience she hasn't had sex in a very long time,
Oh, poor thing.
so she's looking for a man. Yeah, she's got 6 kids and she works too much. She says.
What else? So what was she talking about tonight?
Well, that she hasn't had sex in a long time and she needs a man. And she was talking about Portugal a lot. And the first section in the lead up to Burning Up, which is kind of her initial hi to the crowd, was she's always telling some kind of story. And in this particular occasion, it was how she'd, lived up until that moment where David had said, "Oh, I'd love to be a professional footballer. Where shall we go?" And then she spun the map, put a finger on the map, and it landed on Lisbon, and that took her here. And that's she kind of that led her segued into kind of saying how there were similarities between that experience in New York and how she didn't know anybody and she found her tribe with the artists and the musicians and all those sorts of people who she identifies with, obviously. So she spoke a lot about that and how Lisbon was a crucial part of her personal and artistic journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, oh, I had something
Which
that I
is
was going to ask you, and it slipped my mind. I don't remember what it was now, but um, oh, so you're a singer-songwriter. Uh, what did you think of the vocals that Madonna is belting away during this tour?
In the pocket that we sat in, it was actually quite hard to hear the vocals. So I said to the people next to me, I said, "Is it just me, or can you hear the vocals?" And I felt a little bit like they were down in the mix.
Hmm.
In the photo song, "And I Will Survive," it's crystal clear, it's pure, and she sounds great. But tonight I found it quite hard to hear what she was actually singing. And even when Bob was on the mic and so on, I'm not sure how sound works, but I guess, depending on where you are in the arena, you will get a different experience. So in all honesty, it was actually quite hard to hear them clearly.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I'm sure each venue, the setup is probably really challenging to sort of like duplicate the same from venue to venue. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, but all in all, like nothing felt that it was off, you know what I mean? So, the whole thing from start to finish was slick. It was precise, and comparing to opening night, the choreo was more precise. Everything seemed to flow a lot more kind of naturally. And that particularly during Die Another Day, I thought I don't know if you've seen any of the clips, but there's a lot of sort of almost geometric kind of arm movements. And they were really precise and spot on. It was interesting because today I watched the Instagram live that she did and she was rehearsing that. And I was thinking, surely they've got this down by now. I'm not sure what they're doing, but yeah, it's I could see I was sort of like, okay, cool, yeah, I get it.
I loved that she went live on Instagram 3 times today. Apparently, I had happened to be checking Instagram when the first one went up, so I was able to screen grab it. If you didn't get a chance to see it, it's currently sitting on our YouTube channel, so check that out. But then I went to like run out and get some sunshine and run an errand, and while I was out, she went live 2 more times, and I caught the tail end of the third one, which was the Die Another Day. And I was like, I thought the same thing. I thought, oh, interesting that I mean, I'm sure it's a good refresher for her to go and review the choreography. But I also wondered if because she knew they were doing an Instagram live, if they made it a little bit more, you know, a little bit. They sort of amped up the reality of it a little bit, and sort of, oh, is
Yeah,
it this
maybe.
or
Yeah.
is it this?
Yeah. We know. Yeah, I was really shocked to see the notification pop up on my phone. I was thinking, hang on, is this the real Madonna account or is this like some sort of fake one? This never happens.
Never. I know. That's why I commented during the first one. I was like, more of these, please. Like I miss how
I saw your
frequent.
comment.
I just miss how frequent she used to be posting on Instagram. Like everything, she's like so dry now when it comes to Instagram. Like we barely get anything. And I'm like, what is she doing? Why isn't she on Instagram more? I'm like, I need some
Yeah.
more Madonna content.
Yeah, the time will come, don't worry. I'm sure once this tour's over with, she'll be back on there. So
Question.
that's made me wonder, like, okay, what's next after this tour? I'd love to know what the next projects are.
Well, so I have a question for you. So obviously, there's the rumor that she's going to be headlining Glastonbury Festival with Dua Lipa, first time ever, if it's true, be the first time ever that the two of the headliners are women, which is I'm like, well, it's
Yeah,
about time. Like, what have we been waiting
yeah,
for? Uh, Question for you though:
yeah.
do we think so? We have been long gestating that Madonna has new music coming. We have been deprived of henceforth assumed new music because it has not come out yet. Do we think that if she was to be doing Glastonbury, that would be the time for her to release new music?
That's a good question. I think there's got to be new stuff coming out straight after the tour. I think she needs, I think, a project lined up, ready to go. And all of those sessions in the studio, I'm sure some of them were for this tour. But Max Martin and so on, like something's going on, and I think it's going to hit, I reckon, straight after the tour. I'm not convinced about the Glastonbury rumor, but it would make sense if she did it. It would almost be the perfect tying of the bow at the end of that tour if it is finishing when it's supposed to. But it's a good question. I think the music will come out earlier, personally, I
Hmm.
reckon.
Well, I hope so.
Like maybe
I
April
mean,
time or
I think
something.
I think the ship has sailed for the new music
Me
for this
too.
year. I don't think it's, or I don't, now that we've entered Mariah Carey Christmas time, I don't think we're getting new music from her. Even though Dua Lipa is releasing a new single, which good for her. But I have a feeling if we're getting new Madonna music, which I'm assuming we are and praying we will, but that new music will not come until 2024.
No, I agree. And I don't know, I feel like if she's going to release new material, like brand new material, potentially new album, I don't think she's the type of artist to just sort of drop it and then kind of, say, oh, it's out. I'm sure there'll be like loads and loads of interviews and press and media and surrounding it. I mean, how's she going to ever find the time for that between now and the end of the tour? I just don't think it will happen.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but who knows? It's all speculation and guessing from our side, but it's exciting to guess.
Yeah, I mean that's half the fun of doing the podcast is just
Yeah.
trying to figure out what she's going to do and see if we're right or see if we're wrong. I love hypothesizing. I mean, since we're on the topic, I would hypothesize if she's going to do new music. And I mean, we had thought she was going to put it out right before the tour started as like buzz music to get us, hyped for the tour. Hasn't happened. So I'm assuming, well, maybe she'll
Uh,
wait for the current leg of the tour to end in the United States and then maybe release the new music because there's that rumor she's going to be doing stadiums this summer. And so maybe that's what, like to generate buzz for the stadium nights, she'll release new music. I don't know. If anyone from Madonna's team is listening, can you please just release the new music? Just release it. I'd like that. Since we're on the topic of wish lists, I'd also like maybe the cracked out nun look on a t-shirt, just maybe a new Madonna
mm,
picture on a t-shirt, just something. just throw us a bone. A
Yeah.
tour program? Can we get a tour program? Come on. Anyway.
I do like how they've used that image as you enter the arena. There's that big sort of backdrop curtain thing, and holding the wine glass, and that they've done. Initially, I wasn't really into that whole twisted look. You know how they've distorted the images, but
Yeah.
actually, as I've sort of come around to it, it's quite a really clever way of using those iconic kind of images, but bringing them to like into now and in a way that you wouldn't typically expect, because it is quite jarring the first time you see it. It's like, oh, hang on, what is this? Is this someone got paid to do that?
Yeah, I know. I
But
kind
it's
of
actually brilliant. Yes.
I felt the same way, and I love so um Jess Cuevas, I think is how you say his last name, the artist who did the morphed
Huh?
the morphing of those photographs is really great. And I'm always messaging
Mm.
him being like, can you please put more of these on a t-shirt? Like the Justify My Love one is, like she's
Yeah.
only got like one or two, and I'm again hypothesizing maybe that merch will be rolled out later, like maybe they're exhausting the current batch of images, and then a little later down the road, we'll get some
Mm.
new t-shirts, or maybe just like for the US, like maybe that's the stuff that's hitting for the European leg, and then the US leg will be completely different. I don't know. If I was running
I mean, who
Madonna's,
knows?
if I was running Madonna's, career, this is what I would be doing. You'd have new music, you'd have a new video, you'd have current Madonna on t-shirts, a tour book. I'd be the tour correspondent. I mean,
I mean, I was talking about this with my friend on the way back from the show that I don't know. I can't imagine her continuing the tour beyond the dates that we know about, because unless she somehow, I mean, what's happening with the kids? Like, surely they can't be out touring the world for a whole year. Surely they need to have some kind of like routine, I would think, given that previous tours she's been pretty, like
oh,
not sure.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they don't mind being on tour. It's probably better than sitting in a classroom being tutored all day.
Yeah, I'd say so. Having a 15,000 people scream hysterically at you, why not?
Well, Damien, I know it's super late, and I appreciate you taking the time to come and do this. But before you go, you've only appeared on the show with some music. Damien has been wonderful and has contributed some lovely Madonna cover songs to some of our previous Madonna tribute episodes for her birthday in the past. So you can go hear him sing. You've also got wonderful music out. So if you're not following Damien, follow Damien. You can listen. You can see him dancing and romping through the streets of London, singing random songs of his. I always worry that you're going to get hit by a car. Thankfully, you don't. So it's always a good thing. But
Well, the outtakes, yeah, say otherwise.
but because you've not been on the show as a guest before, we've not been able to do this. So it's time for a little segment we like to call the lightning round. These are meant to be quick, off the top of your head, wherever you're at in your Madonna journey. Don't think too hard. And I know this is going to be a fun challenge because there's a delay, but favorite Madonna song,
Vogue.
favorite Madonna
Mhm.
album,
Like a prayer.
favorite Madonna music video,
Express yourself.
favorite Madonna tour.
I'm gonna say the reinvention tour because it's the first one I saw.
Good one.
Uh, yeah, yeah, that was an amazing experience. The first time I saw her coming out of that from underneath the stage. Yeah, amazing. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, the first time is always not the best, but it's always you always remember the first time, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Favorite Madonna movie?
Ooh, okay. Traditional movie, got to be Desperately Seeking Susan. But if I had to pick like a documentary, of course, it's going to be in bed with Madonna.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a tie. Oh yeah, I saw. Well done.
She's always looking over me.
Yeah.
Favorite Madonna look, and this can come from a video, a tour, a photo shoot.
Hmm. So I was the first thing that comes to my mind is because I was talking about it yesterday, is the Vanity Fair party. I think it was 2006, where she had the pink dress, the hung up kind of hair. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I do. I do.
Yeah, love that. I think it was 2006 because
That
it
pink
was
dress
straight
looked,
after kind of
she wore that pink dress so amazing. I'm so amazing. Like
yeah,
that time period, she was wearing
yeah,
clothes so beautifully. I mean, she has always sort of worn clothes really amazing. Like the fit that she gets on clothes. Like, I mean, the Versace ad campaign that she first did was heaven. Like she wore those gowns so amazing. It's so good to just I love her in a gown. She can wear gowns so really so beautifully.
yeah. And her figure, I mean, there's something about her on a red carpet I just get obsessed with. And even like to dive deeper, I love it when she's on a red carpet and she's asking the person, her minder, whoever, which way is she supposed to go? And she's like, which way do I go?
Well, everybody, that's our show for today. Damien, thank you for joining us. Tell everyone where they can find you on social.
Sure. So my social media is it's Damien Damien Jones, and so it's Damien Jones on all of the socials: Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook. What am I missing? I haven't gotten OnlyFans yet, but who knows? Maybe one day.
There's still time.
Yeah, it's my retirement to think about.
Exactly. And remember, everybody, you can find MLVC on Instagram, Twitter, and I still say Twitter, Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at MLVC Podcast. If you'd like to donate to this show, help keep the show going, we're on Venmo at MLVC Podcast. If you have not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, tick that subscribe button so you never miss a video. We're going to be going live periodically with other listeners, such as Damien, as we trounce through the celebration tour dates. So you're not going to want to miss another review. So hit subscribe and check us out. Damien, I will let you go answer. Your phone seems to be blowing up. All these people texting you, wondering what's happening.
I'm sorry about that. I was like, everything's on silent.
I
Nothing,
love it. I
nothing.
love it. It's real. It's what happens. You know, like you've just come from seeing Madonna. People want to know, how was it? What's happened? Maybe they're just
Literally
checking to
right
make
up.
sure you made it home alive. You know,
I would like to think so.
yeah, it's always nice to know that somebody's checking on you, right?
Probably just the local supermarket
You
pinging me
forgot to
about
pay for
the
that. You forgot to pay for that chicken that you walked out with.
2 for 1 on now.
All right, everybody. Until next time, and I will hit off. And Damien, don't